G'day everyone, this is that concerned guy. For this clip, I like to talk about an interview show that I've listened to on the ABC radio just a while ago, in regards to the theme or the topic on transgenderism. The interview, uh, the interview was about the some author on transgenderism, and she says she has mentioned that she has a son who identifies himself as a girl, and that there's still a so-called problem in mainstream society in the schools where people still not acknowledge people who identify as themselves as transgenders. Yeah, the thing is that transgenderism. There have been articles and and talks about how transgenderism is really well, it's not to sound mean, but it is known to be a mental disorder, and you can, with all these gender identities, it is really there to blur the actual gender roles of male and females. It's this sort of this new left narrative that is promoted in schools in the mainstream media. All this is there to undermine the traditional Western family unit. You have the mother and father, the sons, the daughters, whatever, and their role in the family unit and their role in the community and the society. Ever since from the 1960s onwards, since the countercultural movements, Western society has been going downhill, and many would say, "Oh no, we have progressed so much since then. That there's more women in the workforce. Men are more accepting to female traits, and they accept that women are empowered and all that sort of thing." But really, the family unit is really the family unit in Western societies is suffering. It's been undermined by this so-called progressive ideals. You're having more women following their careers and prolonging having families, if they have families at all, if they even decide to have kids or not. And usually by the time they want to have kids, they're already towards their mid-30s or even 40s. So, and even if there are couples who have kids, both parents, the mothers and fathers, have to work a lot to pay off mortgages and all that sort of thing, pay for the kids' expenses, etc., and less time for the family, less time for kids. So with all this transgenderism narrative, it only further disrupts the family unit that's already been undermined since the second wave feminist movement occurred in the late 60s. So pretty soon there will be a lack of traditional male and female gender roles in society. Women are naturally the nurturers, and men are usually the problem solvers. They create things, they build things, they create technology, they advance society through science, technology, taking the lead in leading the nations to progress. Well, not progress as in the typical social justice warrior way, but yeah, just advancing nations. And you got the names, all the latest figures in history are predominantly men. In any field, whether it's science, medicine, technology, psychology, you know, etc., etc. And transgenderism, this author I've just mentioned that I have listened to in the ABC radio. She claims that yes, gender is on a spectrum. I mean, really, on a spectrum. Really, hey knuckle, on a spectrum. All this sort of, all this sort of, all this sort of, all this sort of ideals that these progressives has in regards to the gender spectrum. It really stems back from communism. Well, you look at Mao Zedong's time in the communist takeover of China. The peasant farmers there, workers, indentured workers in China, the Zedong ordered men and women to be dressed exactly the same. Loose shirts, loose pants, short haircut, no beards, whatever, no perfume, no makeup, yeah, etc., etc. So that both the men and women during that time would look very similar to one another. So people without the trained eye would mistaken them as either male or female, and they're not sure what actual gender the individual was. Because the communist mantra of everyone's equal, blah blah blah. But it really, that sort of equality doesn't exist. Because males and females are naturally different from one another. They got different traits. They've got their own blessings. Well, in the natural biological makeup, and males are good at things, and females are good at other things. It's just the way it is. That's why you still got men being tradies, for example, being tradesmen. They're just naturally more inclined to be doing more the hard, heavy manual work. Women are if they like to do more full-time work and whatever, they're more likely to be in government work or indoor work, office work. So really, the difference is blatantly obvious between the two genders. And ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, has been promoting transgenderism and all that for the last decade or so. And they have pushed this sort of progressive ideals, cultural Marxist ideals, into their mainstream programs. It's become blatantly obvious that this push for the far left to be promoted on ABC is just shows that it's going to the extreme. It's it's something that really you can't see much progress, or so-called progress, in Western nations such as Australia. It's regressive, and this. The natural role of male and females, it's got to be restored in order to stabilize things in Western societies such as Australia. It is alarming, and really, transgender people, they don't deserve to be ostracized or bullied or whatever. They should just be treated like a regular human being, just like anybody else. But with all this political mantra that transgenderism is a natural thing, well, it usually isn't. They're trying to indoctrinate younger school kids to not only accept transgenderism, but also to practice transgenderism. That only makes these kids more confused than they really need to be, which will cause psychological problems for these children later on in life. Anyway, this is just my little talk on the subject of transgenderism. Yes, if you like this clip, please give it a thumbs up, like, and if you like these sorts of topics, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you next time. Mabuhay.